This video is brought to you by theskillmodeler.com. So 3 years of looking at a yellow scale model of my car, it finally got to me and I thought it was time to paint it black and make it look like my car. So first off, I started disassembling. It was 2 screws on the bottom and the rest was pretty much just a snug fit and nothing special there. Those door cards fold open and the windows or the clear parts were riveted in like pretty much all these metal die-cast models. Some of the plastics were molten on the back so they wouldn't fall out, just a bit of Dremel action and they just popped out, and some of the badges could just be cut off with a knife. I was now left with a big pile of small parts, so I put them into a Ziploc bag so I wouldn't lose any. I scuffed the body with some Scotch-Brite and then it was time to move on to paint stripping. The way this works is actually pretty simple. The only thing you have to keep in mind is to not put it on plastic. Plastic has their own stripper. I think that is isopropyl alcohol or brake fluid, but just not the same as used for die-cast metal models. So you just brush it on and it starts working immediately. I did the in and outside, and in between I gave it a wash to see the progress and wash off all the paint that is already stripped, and then I moved on to cleaning it again with some water. And by cleaning it off with some water, you also make sure that the stripper does not work anymore. It doesn't eat into your hands or any paint, it just stops working, and that's pretty much it. I cleaned up the surface a bit with some Scotch-Brite, that also scuffed it up a bit for the primer to stick to it. For priming this model, I decided to go with 1K edge primer from Zero Paints. This is specifically designed to be used on metal parts. You also have a 2K edge primer. This is a bit stronger, but I figured this is just a small model, doesn't get any handling afterwards, just a bit of assembly and then it's put back into its box. So this 1K would be perfect. Primer covered so well, so I figured 1 coat would be more than enough. After that, I let it dry for a good hour before I started on the first of 3 coats of black. I let it dry for a good 10 minutes and then started on the second coat. In between the second and third coat, I again let it dry for 10 minutes before moving on to the next coat. With the model now covered completely, it was time to let it dry for 2 hours before I moved on to applying a 2K clear. Just like applying color coats, applying clear works pretty much the same. Let it dry for 10 minutes in between coats and you're good to move on to the next one. With 2.5 coats of clear on, it was good enough for me, and in the meantime I decided to paint the interior in a light gray to simulate mine. Just like applying the paint on the body, 5 minutes in between coats was good enough, and then it was time to move on to the second. And with the second coat on, I figured this was more than enough. Everything was covered and looked even. I decided to go with some Vallejo Air for this. The color is light gray 71050. And And that's it for this one. In the next video I will be finishing off the interior with some detail painting and assembling the model. In the meantime, check out my website, theskillmodeler.com. I sell some stuff from Zero Paints, Skill Production, and C1 Models. And of course, as always, check us out on Facebook. If you have any questions or suggestions, post a comment or shoot me an email. And thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys next time.